Welcome back to Daily Flash. Mitch English along with Andrea Jackson. This is kind of a hybrid section of parenthood meets furry friends because we're talking about pet ownership. It's actually one of the most exciting, positive, and uplifting experiences of childhood. Think about your pets, right? Though as a parent, we know that pets actually come with very big and real responsibilities. Joining us now to share some advice on how to balance responsible kids with happy pets is parenting expert Catherine Sellery. Catherine, we love having you back on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. I come to you with this after burying our second hamster. And one that was, this is a true story, is one that, no, I'll take care of it. I'm going to love it and everything. And then after a week, because it didn't play like it was expected to, it just kind of got pushed to the side and we had to remind it. And I was like, listen, maybe if I had some better advice, I would have got our hamster, which I don't even think it got a name at this point. You actually have 4, I know it's sad, but it's something you're really going to be helping me out with. You have 4 tips for us for deciding to actually get a family pet. Because this is, first off, a big deal in a family's life. Would you agree or disagree? Or is that maybe
It's such a big deal. Yeah. And I think parents often feel like, but hold on a minute, this is your pet.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't know if you did this or not, Mitch, but open communication in advance, discussing pet responsibilities with your kids really does help so that they have an understanding in advance of what's being expected of them. So we need to engage in this conversation with our kids about caring for the family pet, allowing them to express their thoughts and feelings, worries, concerns about maybe even disappointing us, or that they don't really know what they're getting into. So it's optimal to discuss these fundamental responsibilities in advance of buying the pet, like feeding and grooming and exercise and regular vet visits. And here's where you get to start to clear it out in advance about, even though they don't know what they're really getting into yet, but as much as possible to give them a feel for it.
Okay, you say about responsibilities that they're going to have to take upon. I mean, is it, say if you have a young kid, 5 years old, whatever, you can't really walk the dog. Is that also need to be in play?
Absolutely. So that's exactly it. Age appropriate. It's important to consider, is this an age appropriate task for my 5-year-old? Of course not. You can't have a 5-year-old out alone walking the dog.
Right.
So you need to also be, really tuned in to what's a fair expectation, and that the kids are engaged in the tasks that are only developmentally suitable and safe for them as well. So that, your primary concern and guiding principle is always keep your kids safe. But in advance, you want to talk about so what do you think we should do when this happens?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And let them be a part of what those sort of thoughts would be from their perspective. Because, it's always coming from someone who you want to do the behavior. It's best that they're thinking it through.
And when we do that and we're talking about those responsibilities, obviously the child might be at school and who's going to take care of them then? I imagine teamwork comes in, right?
Absolutely. So that's where, if you really look at your family as we collaborate and we support each other, so that way everybody feels like it's a team effort. So our kids feel overwhelmed sometimes by responsibilities, as do we.
Yes.
And they can be anxious about and have different responses when they fail to meet our expectations, which certainly we don't want to see happen. And, we might feel like they play video games all the time, but that's a different conversation. So it's important, right? Consider everything as a team. And that way you can encourage that teamwork. They can look to you for support. You can look to them and say, look, I said that I'd wash the dog this week, but I'm really overwhelmed. Would you mind? And that way, you really feel like it's collaborative and supportive, and it teaches accountability, adaptability, empathy. It really teaches teamwork.
Yeah, and you mentioned empathy there because pets can bring us so much of that. When the dog has an accident on the bed, and well, you can't get mad at it. He's being a dog. But this actually is an opportunity for children to learn.
Yeah, for sure. Pet ownership is such a powerful way to foster empathy and emotional connection in children. Exploring how caring for a pet teaches them to understand and respond to the needs of another living being, promoting compassion, emotional intelligence. It is a responsibility, and it can be such a great educational tool, but it should be fun, for you and the kids. And make sure to frame your responsibility of pet ownership, not like it's a chore, but an opportunity, to build memories, strengthen relationships, have fun. And we know pets are so much care animals, and they can provide empathy back and be that that best friend to a kid.
And not just say like, oh, it teaches them responsibility, which it obviously does. It can really bring them something that they're in need of. And I appreciate your great advice, Catherine.
Yeah.
And of course, if you at home would like more information, some great parenting information, just go to freeparentingbook.com. We'll have this link on our website. You can go there anytime you like, dailyflashshow.com.